Hi, this is Scott the Peaceful Shaver. So today in America is Veterans Day 2016, and I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to all the veterans out there, past and present, who have volunteered to put themselves into harm's way, sometimes paying the ultimate sacrifice to protect our liberties and freedoms. So thank you to all the vets out there. So for today's Veterans Shave, I wanted to go with everything I'm using was made right here in America. So I had to hunt around to see what I had that was made in America. And in some cases it wasn't easy. In the case of the razor that I'm going to be using, it's simple. Early Gillettes were all made in America, and I thought I would use, because we live in such a beautiful country, I would use my most beautiful American-made razor, this 1921 old type with the bulldog handle. Absolutely gorgeous, flawless razor. Love, love, love this razor, and this one I'm never going to part with. It gives a great shave. Like I said, it's 1921. It's date coded. It's got good heft to it. Simply beautiful. Love it. For my soap, because we're celebrating Veterans of America, I'm going to use my fine American blend. And for my brush, what's more American than a Nathan Clark butterscotch with a Nathan Clark Uber Soft. Now for my blade, I thought, what blades do I have that were made in America? Well, I could go with a Persona Med Prep, or I believe Persona Lab Blues. Personas are either made in America or made in Israel, but actually all of the Personas that I currently own are the Israeli Personas, or the crystal blades. I could have gone with a gem blade, because the American Safety Razor Company blades are still made here in America. Then I would have to use a single edge razor, and I felt like using a DE today. So I thought, and I couldn't use my Artist Club because those blades are made in Japan. So I thought, hey, what about a vintage razor blade? So I dug out my Drexel hollow ground blue steel double edge blades. Here's the back of the package. It says Drexel number AN70 hollow ground, fully guaranteed, and right there, made in the USA. So there's a vintage blade, so when I open this puppy up, I'm going to have to make sure that it isn't rusted at all. If it's rusted, obviously I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to check this out. So it says Drexel blades, made in the USA. Drexel blades are made of the finest surgical steel, guaranteed to give perfect satisfaction. Drexel Blade Company, Lee Center, Minnesota. Never heard of that town. Maybe somebody out there knows of Lee Center, Minnesota. These blades obviously are no longer made. I did a little bit of research, and they're from the 1930s, the mid-1930s. So I opened up here, and they're double wrapped. So they have paper inside of paper. And ooh. Wow, this is a beautiful blade. So, look at that. Kind of reminds me of a treat. You know what? They look like they might have a little bit of rust right there on the top on it, so I don't think I'm going to be using this. So I'm going to put this back in the package, and I'll just hold on to it and not actually use this blade. Probably a smart thing. because you definitely don't want to be using old rusty blades. So I'm going to reach over here, and you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to use a Vossod. They're not American. They're from Russia, but you know what? My ancestors is from Russia, so for me it's okay. Vossods are also double wrapped, and they are surgical stainless steel, so they do not rust, with a Teflon coating. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I love Vossod blades. They're my absolute favorite. So the Bulldog unscrews from the bottom. Okay. And this piece right here, sometimes that's where the date code is. On mine, the top cap flips off. On mine, the date code is right there. And it begins with an N, so it makes it 1921. So you see it's got this long center post, and it's got the two outer posts that go through these holes on the side, which just absolutely locks down this blade, and just, there's no way that blade is going to have any wiggle. Top goes back on it. This piece goes back in here, and we screw it down, tighten it up. See, check the reveal. Looks good to me. My sink is full of water. I've allowed my soap to bloom. Now, can we just put this whole blooming thing to rest? Blooming your soap, whether you dry bloom it, which Douglas Smythe has taught us how to do, or you use the wet bloom method, which I think most people do, as long as you allow your soap to dry and you don't put the cap back on it while it's still wet, nothing's going to happen to your soap. Douglas Smythe had a terrific video recently where he repeatedly bloomed his soap for extended periods of time, doing excessive blooming on it to see if it would hurt the pH or change the pH of the soap. And after 10 times, it absolutely did not change the pH of the soap. So it's not going to hurt your soap. Bloom away, I say. If you don't want to bloom, don't bloom. If you want to bloom, bloom. It doesn't really affect the way that your soap is going to perform on your face. All it's going to do is heighten your experience. It's going to release those oils. When the oils get warmed up, it releases the aromas. It fills your bathroom with the beautiful aromas that the artisan was going for. And in this case, it's a fine American blend. And just heighten your experience. That's all it's going to do. So I'm going to wet my synthetic brush. I didn't have to soak your brush at all because it's a synthetic. And I'm just going to go ahead, shake it off, and start loading. Now the fine, oh God, this smells so good. This is one of my favorite barbershop scents. I'm going to say this is one of my top 3 barbershop scents. Fine American, Cad, and Pinard Clubman, I would say, are my top 3 barbershop scents. Mike's Barbershop being up there too. So I've got a pretty good load on there. That pastiness right on the brush. I'm going to go ahead and wet my face, and we'll get going. All right, so my sink is full of water. I have my razor down here in the water, just getting warmed up. Okay. And dry off my hands, and I'm going to go right to a face lather. Fine soap is it's a tallow soap, triple milled, hard puck, that supposedly was, they reverse engineered tobacco to try to get the formula. And supposedly it's the same formula as tobacco. Now, I did own tobacco at one time. While the performance on tobacco is, I think, second to none, it absolutely performs wonderfully. I could not get past the scent of tobacco. Adding a little bit more water here. The scent to me just smells like a nursing home. It just absolutely smells like an old lady. Couldn't stand it. And I only used it a couple times and I got rid of it. Wonderful performance, but I couldn't get past the scent. And so the fine soaps, if they can give you the same performance as tobacco with better scents, and the scents on all the fine soaps, I've got the sandalwood and I've got the fine American blend, and the performance on them is equal. Both fantastic, and I love the scents. As far as their aftershaves, they have the soaps to match all the aftershaves. I have all their aftershaves with the exception of lavender, and I mean the scents are just magnificent. So, you know, the pucks of soap I believe are $12 or $13, and that's a great price for a triple milled soap that's going to last you a long, long time. The one thing I would like to see from Fine is them to sell their soaps in bowls, like the other artisans do, a plastic bowl or even a tin. Just because I keep mine in one of these Tupperware containers, and it's just not attractive to have on the shelf. I mean, whatever. Then you got to go ahead and label it, and I don't have the time and patience to do that kind of stuff. So this old type is an open comb razor. It's got the thin top cap, and although, you know, it's open comb and it looks like it would be aggressive, I would say that it's moderately aggressive. You know, certainly more aggressive than a super speed or a tech, but nowhere near as aggressive as a Mueller R41 or a Merca Future. You get a good amount of the audio feedback. One thing I'll say is that because it's got the slim head, it's really easy to get underneath the nose. So today is Friday. It's been a few days since my shave. Can't remember how many exactly. I'm not doing No Shave November. I'll just make a donation to men's charities. I like the clean shaver. Scott Ostermiller was nixed by Swimbo as far as growing facial hair. I wanted to grow a mustache, and she put a kibosh on that. So, you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. All right. First pass. All right, really good first pass. I'm going to go ahead and lather up for second pass. So, thank God the election is over. So happy that the political ads are done with. I mean, God, Do the political ads really change anyone's mind? I don't know. They don't change my mind. They don't. They're just an annoyance. People's Facebook posts. People are fighting. People are losing friends because they voted one way or the other. To me, that's ridiculous. And I've never shied away from sharing my political opinions, but I'm not going to lose friends over who they voted for or who they didn't vote for. I have friends that are liberal. I have friends that are conservative, and that's fine. That's, they arrived. They did soul searching. They arrived at their ideas of what kind of government that they want or don't want. And you know what? It's a free country, or at least we want it to be. People are entitled to their opinions as long as they go about it peacefully. Full disclosure, I consider myself a voluntarist, which is basically a libertarian on steroids. I'm not going to go too much into that. I didn't vote for Trump or Clinton. I've never voted for a major party candidate for the presidency. I've pretty much always voted for either the Libertarian candidate, Constitution candidate, or some other independent candidate for president. I voted for Gary Johnson this time around, not because I love Gary Johnson, but because I wanted to help him get to 5% so that he could get matching funds, so the Libertarian Party could get matching funds next time around, become a major party where they would be easier to get candidates on the ballot because it would be a major party as opposed to a minor party. In certain states, major parties, which the Democrats and Republicans pretty much have a monopoly on, if someone wants to run for a state or local office, pretty much they pay a couple bucks and they get on the ballot. Whereas if you're not a major party candidate, you'd have to come up with a certain amount of signatures in a geographic area and do all this other work to do it. And it cuts down the people that are able to get into the process. And basically, you end up with billionaires against millionaires, which is what we had this time, pretty much every time. And if we don't get some other people in there, that's what we're going to be stuck with every time is, rich people against rich people, and the regular people, really don't get their representation. Because, obviously Donald Trump is a billionaire. He probably can't relate to the average person. And, Hillary Clinton, same thing. Although I didn't vote for Mr. Trump, and I'm not particularly a fan of Mr. Trump, I certainly am not going to root for him to fail. Why would I do that? I want him to succeed because I want America to succeed, and then we all succeed. So 8 years ago and 4 years ago, I didn't vote for President Obama, but when he became president, I certainly didn't root for him to fail, which a lot of people did, and I didn't think was right. He's the president. He was elected. I'm not going to agree with everything or anything that they do, but I'm certainly going to root for them to succeed. And when I agree with them, I say it. And when I disagree with them, I say it. And, he has his good points and he has his bad points. And Trump, I'm sure, must have some good points. Half the country voted for him. Half the country wanted him, or half the country didn't want Hillary. I'm not sure that people that voted for Hillary were as much pro-Hillary as they were anti-Trump. And although there are a lot of pro-Trump people out there, I think probably not all of them were pro-Trump that voted for him. They were more anti-Hillary. And I don't like the idea of taking your vote and using it to vote against somebody. I'd rather vote for somebody. I would rather use my vote, my one vote, to vote for someone that I actually have a connection with philosophically and that I believe can get us there. I don't believe that a vote for a third party is wasted. I don't believe that a vote for the lesser of two evils is the way to go, because when you vote for the lesser of two evils, guess what? You're still getting evil. And I'm not saying that Trump is evil, and I'm not saying that Hillary is evil, but I think you get what I'm saying. I'd rather vote for someone than against someone. And it seems like every election cycle, people are saying, well, you have to choose. You got to choose one. No, I don't. My vote is not a wasted vote because my vote is voting my conscience. And like I said, I wanted the Libertarian Party to become more mainstream, to get that 5%, to get their matching funds, to get easier access to the ballots in the future, so that we will see more Libertarian candidates and at least another view up there on stage during the debates. So we're not stuck with just Republican and Democrat. And in case you don't know, as a Libertarian, we take what we believe to be the best of both parties, or the best of each party, and combine them. So we take the fiscal conservatism of the Republicans and combine it with the social liberalism of the Democrats, and we put them together, and in my mind, makes a perfect philosophy. I believe in non-aggression. I don't believe that anyone has the right to aggress or use aggression against anyone else for any reason. And that all interactions between humans should be voluntary and consensual. And when I say aggress, I don't just mean physical aggression. I believe in a peaceful society, voluntary society, where people choose to govern themselves the way they choose to be governed. People want to live in a commune and be communists, go right at it. If people want to get together and elect a monarch or be ruled under a monarchy, go for it. But I should have the right to opt out. Just because I live in a geographic location, I should be able to choose to live my life the way that makes me happy, as long as I don't infringe on someone else's happiness. So anyway, that's a little bit about my philosophy. Hope I didn't bore you too much. The shave was great. I'm going to clean off, and then I'm going to use some fine American blend, of course. So I want to wish everyone out there a happy Veterans Day. Again, thank you to all the veterans, past and present. Peaceful Shaver out.